Your time has just gone 20 minutes after 12 on 101.5 FM. And this afternoon, good afternoon to you. If you've just joined us, thank you for choosing us as your number one Christian radio. Malungi Myende here, sitting with you together with Lulu Mapanisi, all the way up to 2 p.m., keeping you companied. If you've just joined us on this afternoon segment, we are joined by Major General Anthony Gopaul. Good afternoon to you, sir, and welcome.
Good afternoon, Malungi. Thank you for inviting me, and my greetings to your listeners out there and to the people of KwaZulu-Natal.
Thank you so much. It's your first time on 101.5 FM, I believe.
That is correct.
Aha. And so we got the big fish today.
Well, I'm not sure about that. I'm still somewhere in between.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, one may say, who is Major General Anthony Gopaul?
Malungi, I am the District Commissioner for the District of Ilembe,
Right.
which is a portfolio that manages 10 police stations in the District of Ilembe. But this is the new identity that I have acquired as of the 1st of November.
Right.
Before that, one would have known me for being the commander of the Port of Durban Harbour.
Right. And thank God you still, I can see you don't have grey hairs on your hair is not full of grey hairs for now. So
I'm glad I did a good job at hiding that.
Now, you just in the past weekend, you held an awards evening for SAPS Durban Harbour, one of the most biggest event. I've never seen so many police men and women in one room. Of course, they weren't in their uniform, but my mind was telling me, Uti, hey, these are police people. You are probably you and a few people here are not in the police force, but these are all police. Now, one may say, what prompted you to actually host such a big event?
Malungi, this event, you caught us at probably the height of a journey that has traveled a long way.
Right.
This particular journey started 12 years ago when we started the first awards in a church hall. And there was a zero budget on that particular event.
Right.
So we just partnered with Old Mutual at that stage.
Yes.
And we walked a journey with them until we reached this 12-year journey.
Wow.
Between church halls, community halls, and various venues, and then reached the state of the ICC.
Right.
But I think the important part as to what makes this an important aspect of the lives, specifically in the Port of Durban Harbour, you will note that the Port of Durban Harbour is responsible for moving through the GDP for South Africa in excess of 60% of the GDP.
Yes, yes.
So it was important for us to try to send a sense of appreciation to the staff that bring stability to the Port of Durban Harbour.
Right.
In managing the security related to the economy. It's not just for the city or the province, not just for the country, but for the continent. You will note we have landlocked countries that depend on Durban Harbour.
Yes, that's true.
If a sabotage or critical infrastructure gets damaged or the port comes to an halt, we see the impact on the economy and the livelihood across this country and the continent. So definitely, it might say that we had quite a nice event, but it's insignificant to the proportion of the work that we do in the Port of Durban Harbour to keep stability on the economy of the port and the country.
And speaking of the port, you're about to leave the Port of Durban. One may say, for how many years you've been again?
That's been a 15-year journey total for me. Yes, that's correct.
So when are we coming for a party celebrating your your transition from here to Ilembe?
I think that was the party on Friday. That was the party on Friday, where it was time to say a bittersweet moment.
Yes,
you're celebrating the height of the achievements of people and what we've achieved together, but at the same time, it was a way for me to say goodbye to the people that I leave behind. But the port is in good hands.
Yes. So for 15 years you've been here. I mean, most probably you definitely miss your times here at the port.
Absolutely. In life, you build relationships, and you must also keep that relationship going, and you manage that even when you've left a place. That's the spirit you keep.
Right. So you've just been, of course, you are now the Major General, Ilembe. I mean, you are going to Ilembe district as a commissioner. Tell us about that.
Well, Malungi, that district commissioner entails being in a different kind of a space as to the port, and so definitely there's a lot of interaction with communities.
Mm,
There's a lot
mm,
of interaction with people on the ground in as far as
right.
external stakeholders in combating crime, serious and violent crime,
Mm,
family violence,
right.
matters that threatens the livelihood of people, the life of people, and the stability of communities. So that's the new role I'm going into,
Right.
to make a contribution towards managing that aspect of policing.
Right. And while you're there, one may say, what are some of the challenges that you have seen already at your new role, which requires community involvement?
At the moment, Malungi, there are serious crime that takes
Right.
place in terms of robberies, house robberies,
Right.
and then on the side of a matter that's closer to the heart, I think a lot of domestic violence, and I've noticed a lot of crimes of rape being reported,
Right.
and much of these crimes requires a lot of social cohesion,
Right. That's
social
true.
interaction, social understanding,
Mm.
and bringing stability. I believe that a lot has to do with the fabric of society.
Right.
I can see that.
Yes.
I can see that when we tend to focus too much on the cities and the CBDs, we forget that there are rural communities that are left with matriculated students,
Right.
graduates from universities and FETs, and they can't find a job because they're dislocated from the city. The city doesn't interact with programs that are at a stage and at a level where rural communities can benefit or even give some kind of confidence to take business to communities.
Right.
So, for example, factories. How do we create stability with the factory, the manufacturing industry
Right.
in rural areas, in a district like Ilembe, to keep the economy flowing? So you keep people employed, keep them off the street, and you have less crime, you have less social ills to concern yourself for. So I think
Right.
that's what I've been seeing already
Yes.
in the district of Ilembe.
And then, in line with you mentioned their domestic violence and rape, etc. One may say, in line with 16 days activism, what is your advice to the community at large?
Malungi, first and foremost, I think one of the upfront statements I need to make is that the kids right now are on holidays. They started,
Yes.
the exams are over.
Yes.
So my advice would be for parents to know where their kids are. For parents to still be parents when school is closed. We think
Right.
parenting is in schooling semesters
Right.
and in university semesters, but parenting doesn't stop until your child has reached that adult stage of being
Right.
self-sufficient for himself or herself. So the first and foremost, I say, know where your kids are right now.
Right.
We don't want situations where you find out your kid was in some club or tavern or party at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you get some sad news about some incident that took place there, and then only to find out you weren't even aware that your child is
Was
in
there.
such a place. So firstly, that should be something that I would say, know where your kids are.
Right.
Secondly, the abuse, and I won't say use, because we don't have a use of alcohol anymore and drugs. We have abuse of the alcohol. And this alcohol is creating a lot of problems.
Right.
It's giving you a moment of excitement and joy and happiness, but it steals the very life of you. And so I've noticed that in a number of the domestic incidents and in the rape cases,
Right.
alcohol is the fundamental
Sure.
ingredient to that particular
Sure.
thing taking place. So we should look at how we manage this part of alcohol.
Right.
You find youngsters just going to parties, to houses they've never been before because their friend invited them. And they find themselves in such a place, and now they are 2 o'clock in the morning, there's no transport, and then they have to then decide to sleep somewhere. in a house that they have no idea who it belongs to.
Mm.
And then the next day there's allegations of rape,
Sure.
there's allegations of assault, sexual indecency. So I'm saying alcohol is playing a major
A big
role.
role.
Same with domestic violence. When alcohol is abused, the partners are abusing their spouses.
Sure.
So we do have a lot of programs we are running during this period to create the awareness.
Right,
And
right.
I would encourage a lot of people to get involved in this. And if you have loved ones, if you have family members that you don't know how to speak to them, maybe you scared to speak to them, they are very confrontational, maybe take them to some of these programs we are running and events we are running
Right.
around the stations. All the stations are running programs right now.
All right, all right.
Take them, participate in those programs. Maybe they will see those pictures might trigger something in them. We have some pamphlets, we have some pictures of
Right.
abused children, of abused, without showing the faces, but we show you the injuries.
Oh.
And we have some clips we play on the trauma that people have been through. So I would say if we could take them to such events and keep them locked into, make them busy actually.
Yes.
Keep them busy.
Yes.
Even if your spouse is unemployed during the time, keep him busy with something. Keep her busy with something. That hey, can you help me with this? Can you go there? Get a relative for that period of time in December to be constantly keeping this person busy.
Right.
If you know that you're going to have a problem and you know it's historical, your Christmases are like this. Get a family member that will keep this person occupied. I know it's a little bit of an effort on the family member, but somebody you know that this person respects, this person will listen to.
In the family.
Yes, in the family, even if it's a friend, but a non-drinking friend, of course.
Yes.
So if you keep this person busy with something and he'll feel important, he'll feel needed and wanted,
Right.
especially those who are unemployed, feel there's no relevance, feel that there's nothing important about them. So they tend to want to drown themselves with alcohol.
Sure.
So I would say get family members to talk, be in community, just a phone call even. And if it alerts this person, hey, this person phoned me, that means he loves me, that means he respects me.
Yes.
And I must honor that by showing that respect, by remaining to that value, to that character that he thinks of me, that he sees me to. We don't have to just ignore those ones, say they will never change. It's fine to have their opinion, even if you do. But at least make that phone call.
Right.
At least make that visit.
Right.
And let him see that you respect him.
Right.
You still have some kind of value. You attach some kind of valuable quality in him. And once he sees that, he will want to aspire to maintaining it. So that is my advice on the issue of alcohol abuse with families. We tend to say, hey, some of our family members are never going to change. They're going to be remaining like this. Even if it's true, from a Abbott point of view.
Right. While you're there, I'm just thinking, of course, this thought is just creeping in. I'm wondering if you can say it is with, of course, with the experience that you've had before, I mean, over the years, rather, would you say that insecurities are the main problems that will drive people to drinking, certain people?
Well, I wouldn't say it's the main, but I'll say it's part of the problems.
All right.
Yes, because
right.
If you go into a lot of dynamics regarding culture and you start to bring culture into the issue of an unemployed person sitting at home, especially a male, it may have a role to play. He may feel exactly what you say, insecure, but then he may also have hurts and emotional pain that he's going through, and he has resorted because he saw maybe an history of behavior with his family members. When they had problems, they turned to alcohol or abuse of drugs. So he may be doing it because that's learned behavior, and he follows through with that. It may be because he has friends that the only friends he has is people who consume alcohol. There's no one else. He's got no friends that doesn't consume alcohol.
Right.
And that's where he finds himself, that becomes abusive.
Right.
But you do get people who consume alcohol that are, like I say, those are the users, we call it. The people who use alcohol or take alcohol. We're not talking about that. Where they control their behavior. And so I don't want to be bashing a person across the face
Not
and
at
saying,
all.
hey,
Right,
but
yes.
I'm focusing on the abuse of the alcohol and the impact it has on the social side of homes and families. And it's painful when a child watches his parent highly intoxicated, totally out of order, in his behavior, and he's got other children around him that are his peers and his friends, and they watch this
Sure.
together, and then the child becomes someone that has to be mocked by his own friends about his parents' behavior, and it's a
Sure.
fact in society.
Yes,
It happens like
it
that.
is. It
And
is.
so it's a time of celebration. Christmas is coming around the corner. We all want to be in a festive mood.
Right.
What we need to do is respect the other one's space of enjoyment.
Right.
I want to enjoy, you
Right.
want to enjoy,
Right.
but how I enjoy should not impede on your enjoyment.
That's true.
You should be allowed to be enjoying yourself, and you should not impede on my enjoyment. In other words, I don't need to hear your vulgar language. I don't need to be witnessing you bashing your kids and your wife. So let's not expose each other to the worst side of this kind of behavior over the festive period, and let's
Right.
reduce this violence that we see taking place in homes today.
Major General, maybe you've just tuned in, listeners at home. Maybe you just got into your car and you're hearing this conversation. Well, I'm sitting with Major General Anthony Gopaul from Ilembe District. He is the commissioner there at Ilembe District, and we are just talking about some of the social ills that are out there. You did mention some of the areas where the police stations are situated, that there are programs that are going to be running during this time, festive season. One may say, how do I get to know, what days and times and stuff like that? But other than that, there are listeners, and there are people who have never experienced abuse, domestic violence in their homes. So when you say 16 days of activism, to them, it doesn't ring any bell. It's just normal. Life is normal. So one may say, how can they get engaged in assisting those that are affected by domestic violence?
Well, I think it was Shakespeare that once said that we are all but mere actors, and we go on stage, and then we play our parts in our acts. And sometimes your friend may not show you that. You may not see that because he's showing that act, he's playing that part of his,
Right.
because of the embarrassment that may come with it. So you will not know whether your friend is having that. But when you get involved in these programs, you might be accidentally taking a friend of yours who's a victim of this
Right.
to such programs.
Right.
So I would say that even if you don't experience it, take friends with you and go for the programs that you hear in your communities. Every police station, no matter where you are, not just in the district of Ilembe, but every police station have social crime prevention projects and programs. And those programs are very interactive, even with schools, tertiary institutions. In schools, we actually have a safety plan
Right.
where we work with the schools to safeguard kids, do
Right.
drug awareness campaigns, do this domestic violence awareness, all these kind of programs. We do it in schools, do it with tertiary institutions. So I would say, talk to your local police station, find out from your local police station who's the crime prevention, social crime prevention officer, how can you partner with this. And every police station, Malungi, by the way, has got victim-friendly centers.
All right.
Right, so a victim-friendly center is where when you come to the police station to report a crime of domestic violence, rape, or anything to do with the abuse of women and children, we don't sit with you in the police station and make you feel uncomfortable and people to watch you sob and cry,
Right.
and tell your life story in front of strangers. There's a specific room we take you. It's called a victim-friendly center,
All right.
where it's equipped to make you feel comfortable. And we have then counselors who are members of the community, by the way,
Right.
that partner with us.
Right.
And then from there we discuss, we take your complaint, we'll investigate, we look at options of how do we safeguard you, what are the places we can keep you as a place of safety.
Right.
And we have non-government organizations, churches even, and other religious group institutions that assist with providing value-added services in as far as the victim-friendly centers are concerned. So I would say, get in touch with the police stations
Right.
and get involved with those programs. You could be a real tool and an asset to something that you never thought you were.
So all you have to do is just go to a police station in your area
Yes.
and ask them how you can participate in assisting those who are affected.
Yes.
Wow. And also, I mean, festive season is here. We are just few weeks to Christmas. One may say, what are your plans to the district of Ilembe? What are your plans to protect the district?
Well, Malungi, I actually, before I could even arrive, the marching orders from the Minister of Police and the National Commissioner, as well as the Provincial Commissioner, was that our festive plans was to start as early as October. So the reason for that is because schools were in exam mode.
All right.
And we were very concerned we wanted kids to get to school to write the exams, and we had to safeguard them in terms of those aspects. So we've started already in October, and now that I have arrived, I actually was in a meeting on Monday with the community CPF chairperson and the district chairperson for Ilembe, as well as the enforcement agencies. We were looking at that same plan that was developed prior to my arrival, and then we started to look at areas that I wanted covered. So for the festive season, we know we're expecting an influx. KwaZulu-Natal is a destination of choice.
Oh yes.
And we'd love to keep it that way, because that destination of choice keeps our people employed, keeps our SMDs, small medium business enterprises operating. It brings a vibrancy of economy into the area, and we would love that. Please, Gauteng people and all the landlocked provinces, come and spend your money in KwaZulu-Natal. We are going to keep you safe. So all our beaches, and that's one of the things I've did. Shopping malls.
Yes.
I've touched on the importance of shopping malls, your highway routes, your beaches, and then all the licensed venues in terms of alcohol consumption, visiting them, making sure they stick to the rules. We are doing a lot of that. We're expecting an influx of additional manpower starting on the 14th of December, on top of what we already have. So before arriving here, I was trying to arrange for accommodation for those personnel. It's a high volume of personnel coming to the district. Extra vehicles. So we're going to be in your face during the festive period, but for your safety. Lots of roadblocks, alcohol consumption. We are definitely going to make sure that law-abiding citizens and road users are safe on the roads. We're going to take off drunken drivers. We're not going to find them on the roads. If we find them, we are going to then take the appropriate action we need to. So we are definitely gearing up for the festive season. We want to keep our visitors feeling welcome and feeling the warmth of KwaZulu-Natal. At the same time, we're going to make sure that if you're holidaying, you're going to holiday respecting other people around you. And we are definitely going to create that visibility, which already started, but from the 14th of December going right through the 14th or 15th of January, there's high density operations we'll be having throughout the Ilembe district. And this includes all the rural areas that I talk about where I'm having a problem with the issue of domestic violence. So when we see a tavern serving alcohol to a person who is highly intoxicated, make no mistake, we're going to close that tavern down and charge the owner of that particular tavern. It will close.
And for more details, like people that would like maybe to contact in reporting, whether they are reporting bad driving. Did I say bad driving?
Yeah.
I meant to say drinking and driving kind of cases like you mentioned, someone who's going to a tavern, they are already intoxicated, but they're still going to get alcohol. How can people report that?
So I think the safest bet, because it's easier to, instead of giving different police stations numbers, and we've always been marketing the 10111 number, or the 082 10111 in most cases, because if we do that, it makes it easier. That call that gets directed, the operator will direct that particular complaint to the specific police station, instead of you looking around in that area. So wherever you are, if you are, for example, in the Verulam area, the 10111 call center for the eThekwini district will pick your call, and it'll then take your call and direct that complaint. If you're in, let's say, in the greater north of KwaZulu-Natal,
Yes.
the 10111 center on that side will pick up your call because it picks up the
Right.
signal of where your location is.
Oh,
So a
right.
different call center will pick you up.
Yes.
You will take your complaint and direct it to the specific.
But it's the same number.
It's the same number.
Right.
You won't change the number.
Right.
So the best number I would always say is stick with that 10111 number, or the 082 11111. And you,
082?
Yeah, it's 082. Yeah. 10111.
10111.
10111. Even if you dial 10111 straight, you will still get through.
10111. It will.
It still go through the call center.
Awesome.
So,
wow. Thank you so much for coming in and for chatting with us. With the festive season I mean, as you say, you've deployed. You are deploying quite a number of police all over. So we will be seeing the visibility of the police instead of the visibility of the enemy. I won't mention.
Absolutely.
I won't mention names. I was gonna say Paras, but I'll let me take back that statement. So instead of seeing the other faces, we would rather see police on our face. You'd rather, be seeing the the face.
And I know that's why I say I really appeal to the communities and public to be patient with the police, especially around roadblocks. Because roadblocks, we're trying to remove those drunken drivers, remove those firearms, remove those drugs that are going to go back into the community. So sometimes I know it can be frustrating to sit in queues when you're on holiday, especially. You don't want to be in a queue. I don't want to be in a queue on holiday. But when I understand why I'm in that queue, I think it makes all the more difference.
Right.
But Malungi, thank you very much, and I want to encourage you for being constantly in touch with the police. I know you are very active on the ground in terms of running programs, and the only reason why you found me here is because you were on the ground. If you tried phoning a telephone number, you might have got an appointment and seen me in the office, but I found you on the ground working with the police, and so I want to congratulate you on that and say thank you very much. And I encourage all ministries, in this particular, your radio listeners, pastors that are listening, don't distance yourself from the police station in your precinct.
Right.
Work with them. In fact, you have all the reason to work with them, because in the absence of good, evil will always triumph. So when good men do nothing, evil will triumph. So get involved and make sure that you keep a relationship with your police stations.
Right.
Because we need a lot of programs that the church could initiate, and sustainable ones. I don't like the singular initiatives of people feeding a person on Mandela Day, and then as if the person never was hungry the next day. So sustainable programs, I'm asking churches to stick with, and not just feeding. Look at life skills in terms of technical empowering. And then talk to kids from a guidance counseling point of view, in as far as choosing a subject in school. Choosing subjects. A lot of people go for basic general qualifications, which doesn't give them a skill. It just gives them a degree certificate. So try to guide kids in developing a skill or a profession that is definitely we have a shortage of in South Africa. If you look at the skill set in South Africa, a lot of kids are going to do the socials degrees.
That's true.
And it has nothing you can't do much with it afterwards. So I'm appealing to churches and religious groups to get involved in the lives of youth, in helping them to choose, and sometimes helping them to look at what is the need. What does South Africa need right now in terms of skill set? Do we need more plumbers, welders? What do we need? So that we could then take them to that direction and say, this is where you should need to go.
Train them.
And lastly, maybe just a guide to say, there was a presidential launch on the issue of maximizing the blue economy. Operation Pakisa. So we were, as South Africa, looking at exploring the sea for gas and oil, aquaculture, shipbuilding and repair. Those are programs that I was privy to understand. And I'm saying, find out where are they in those timelines. Participate in developing a skill set that by the time we realize those kind of initiatives in maximizing, it is said that over 1.5 million jobs will be created through that particular initiative. So how do you start gearing yourself towards employment?
that, yes.
Why would we need to employ welders from outside the country
Mm.
for the oil rigs that we want to build in the sea?
When we have men
When we have unemployed people and
Mm.
kids that are going in the wrong direction, take them and get them into these programs, welding,
Right.
welding underwater.
Right.
We have an economy here that is waiting to be explored, and I think that is what the presidential program of Pakistan is intending to do.
Right.
So if we can look at how does the church play the significant role, understanding the vision of this country
Right.
and moving towards that
Towards that.
Yes.
In assisting.
Absolutely.
Right. And you know, there's this term is in isiZulu elithi uzoyithola kanjani uhlezi ekhoneni. What would be the direct translation, General?
For what is the what?
How do you get it if you are sitting in the corner? That's a direct translation.
Oh.
It's like how do you, yeah? Huh?
How are you gonna get it while you're sitting?
Say that again.
How are you gonna get it while you're sitting at the corner?
While you're sitting in the corner, that's a direct translation.
You're right. You have to get up and go.
You have to get up
You have
and
to
do
go
something.
and maximize the opportunities.
Yes, yes.
I think that is something that we should, I think a lot I've seen is that we sometimes we have our program. It's we have this program. It starts here and it goes there. And I'm specifically saying to this because I know it's a Christian channel, and I'm saying this specifically to the churches. That your program is often orientated only to your church and your church community, but you don't link it to what is the need of this country,
of the community,
and the community
at large,
and what are the opportunities for them, and how do you take them to that?
Right.
So having programs to say we had a youth program. So how does a youth program take people out into university and into the job stream? What are the avenues of streams you're creating,
right.
and that flows it out, because you don't want a person to start in your church, finishing school, becoming a youth, remaining unemployed, and still remaining in your church. So you can only take care of the community,
right,
if the tithe is brought into stores. And if you have unemployed people, you don't have tithe in the stores to take care of the community.
Yes.
So the principle is that what you have in front of you is the tithe of the future.
Right.
So take care of the tithe of the future now, that you may receive the tithe in the future.
Right.
So I would say that is the message I would give to the churches out there.
That's so powerful. So have a broader
Yes.
perspective. I mean, don't look at just your own members that you have of the church, but
Yes.
look at it from
Broadly, absolutely.
broadly. You know, I'm just thinking as you are saying this, Uguti. I mean, imagine if we were to participate indeed from whether different. I mean, in our communities where we're at, if we were to render our services to the police, to the police stations,
Yes.
Uguti. In fact, I think there are times when police will come and call you when someone
Yes.
comes to the police station probably to report whatever, maybe a case of rape and whatever.
Yeah.
There are times when pastors will be called in to even come and pray.
Absolutely.
You know, and because they are engaging, they are engaged already in what is taking place.
Absolutely.
And I mean, the scripture says God wants all men to come to the knowledge of Christ.
Yes.
You know, so it is not only a particular group.
Yes.
It's everyone.
It's everyone. There's no exclusion.
It's everyone. There's no exclusion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
You're correct. You're correct.
So we're out to participate as churches. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Participate.
Participate.
Amen.
Yeah. So I just want to also just that number I was giving earlier on, the 10111 number.
Yes.
I think at the call box it will work, but if it's on your cell phone, you're going to have to use 086 00 10111. 086 00 10111.
10111.
Yes, that's if you're calling from your cell phone.
Or if you're calling from the landline, that would be 082 or 10.
No, sorry, it must be 10 yeah.
Oh,
They have changed that number, yeah.
Oh,
But I
right.
think we were receiving too many Oaks calls on the when the call was free all over.
Right.
So now it helps us. But our call centers, by the way, is geared up to now trace and identify a caller.
Right.
So I'll also encourage the communities and members of the public or the police, let's use our resources effectively and avoid the hoax calls and keeping the police unnecessarily occupied with false complaints. as opposed to people who really need their assistance.
Right,
So I think
right.
there's a great deal of responsibility
Mm.
that we would need from the communities.
Amen and
Yeah.
amen. Thank you so much again, once again, Major General Gopaul.
Thank you, Malungi.
If it was just a month ago, I would have called you
Brigadier.
Brigadier. But the grace of God has taken you to General. Wow. Thank you so much once again for joining us on the Brunch to Lunch. We are looking forward to, you spoke about social cohesion. So important to get down there and be of assistance.
Absolutely.
See how we can assist people.
We're looking forward to see you, Malungi, come to the district of Ilembe and run some
Ilembe.
programs with us. Maybe run some live shows. Encourage the people. People love to be part of a society that's interactive.
That's true.
So I think the radio station
true.
gives that opportunity, and people can. People love to be heard on radio. If you go
Yes,
to the local
yes.
communities, you should watch. They see a camera. They love to be on camera.
Yes,
So I think when you have your radio station there, they will start to want to be involved in programs, and we want to look at every avenue and stream that we could use, every medium that we could use to grab the attention of the community, to get them involved in something other than crime and other than having spare time. Spare time is just if you've got too much of idle time, it's a problem actually. But
That's
thank you very much. I really appreciate giving me the opportunity, and to your listeners out there,
Amen.
stay safe in the December period. Don't stop